I'm standing here in front of the remains of the grandstand at the Zeppelin field in Nuremberg, Germany. This is where Hitler presided over the Nazi Party rallies in the 1930s. At the rally here in 1935, he announced the Nuremberg laws, which stripped Jews of their German citizenship, making them stateless. This regulation was later extended to include the Romani and black people. They were all defined as enemies of the state, and there was no tolerance for anything considered to be non-Aryan. Our world today is also becoming increasingly fraught with division and hostility. And the concept of tolerance today is not just important, it is essential. Tolerance, that's defined as the willingness to accept beliefs and behaviours different from one's own. It's the bedrock of a truly free society. Without it, we risk descending into chaos and tyranny. Let me explain what I mean with a story. As children, we're naturally inquisitive. We're constantly asking why about the world around us. Why is the sky blue? Why must I brush my teeth? Why do bees sting? Why have I got to go to school? This curiosity helps us to understand the world around us. It's only when we grow older that we begin exploring the what and the how of the various facets of the universe and the people we encounter. Now, university is a pillar of education. It's a place to explore new ideas, to engage in discussion, debate, and often disagreement. This process of exploration tests our hypotheses about life, the universe, and everything, to borrow from Douglas Adams. There, we can experiment with new ideas. We challenge assertions. We dispute questionable arguments. And then we decide which concepts are useful. These principles of discussion, of debate and disagreement are vital for delving deeply into new ideas. Many of them will be discarded, while others will help us form our own value and belief systems. However, an ugly change is emerging. It's no longer acceptable to discuss certain topics. A culture of censorship has taken hold in many Western countries. Paradoxically, these countries still claim to be bastions of free speech. Those who transgress against this new orthodoxy risk being ejected, ostracized from society, and painted as villains by the self-proclaimed thought police. At what point did free speech become so costly? During Hitler's regime, speaking out against the prevailing system would have likely resulted in being locked up, or worse. But when did our society become so intolerant of alternative points of view that even mentioning them risks character assassination? Tolerance is not just a mere nicety. It's not just a politeness of the well-brought up. It's the lifeblood of a free society. Without it, censorship will drive alternative points of view underground. It'll create discord and division. Without tolerance, we're doomed to perpetual conflict and oppression. Tolerance ensures that diverse cultures, religions, and ideologies can coexist. It enables individuals to express themselves freely and without fear. It's the lubricant that enables people with a wide variety of viewpoints to rub along together, to coexist. It oils the wheels of a diverse society. It fosters dialogue, innovation, and progress. A society that lacks tolerance is destined to implode. By contrast, intolerance breeds hatred, violence, and division. It creates a landscape where only the loudest, most aggressive voices are heard. Intolerance silences the minority groups and stifles dissent. In such a society, freedom is simply an illusion. Fear and oppression become the norm. True freedom can only flourish in an environment where tolerance is actively practiced and upheld. Our own desire to live in an open and fair society must also extend to others, to everyone. If we expect others to be tolerant of our views, we must also be tolerant of theirs. In today's globalised world, the stakes are higher than ever. The rise of populism, nationalism, and xenophobia threatens to unravel the progress we've made towards a more tolerant society. Communities have become more polarised, and the need for tolerance has become increasingly urgent. We cannot afford to be passive. We must actively cultivate and defend tolerance in our society. Education, it's a crucial tool in this fight. By teaching young people the value of tolerance and empathy, we can encourage a generation that's more resilient to the poison of bigotry. Schools and communities must become educators of tolerance, places where dialogue, understanding and acceptance are actively promoted. My father, Sir Nicholas Winton, exemplified the impact one person can make in standing against intolerance. In 1939, he orchestrated the rescue of 669 mostly Jewish children from Nazi-occupied Czechoslovakia when he brought them to safety in the United Kingdom. His actions during the Kindertransport rescue mission were a defiant stand against the prevailing winds of bigotry and genocide. His legacy challenges all of us to embrace tolerance as a radical and active force for good. His life's work calls us to fight against intolerance and stand up for the rights and dignity of all people. Before you blame someone else for their disagreeable views, stop. Ask yourself, why do you have the right to restrict the freedom of someone else? Why are you entitled to speak your mind, but also think you have the right to prevent others from doing the same? In honouring his memory, we must commit to building a world where tolerance prevails, where every individual is afforded the respect and freedom they deserve. Anything less is not just a failure of morality, but a threat to the very fabric of our society.